What is up, everyone on YouTube? Thank you for watching the Triple Double podcast. My name is Ashanti and I am joined with Romero Hardy Jr. himself. Rom, how's it going, man?
How you doing, man? It's been a long week for your boy. I was in Indianapolis on Tuesday seeing Zion Williamson.
Yeah.
I'm close and personal. Got a chance to go see my Spartans try to put up a fight against the Kentucky Jayhawks, but they didn't get it done. But, yeah, a lot of basketball, man. A lot of things happen in the NBA.
Yes, and this is a NBA show, a reminder, but hey, it's all good. Let's just jump right into it, Rome. The biggest story of this week, Jimmy Butler, our first episode's main topic, is heading to Philadelphia in a trade. Minnesota is receiving Robert Covington, Dario Saric, Jared Bayless, and a future second-round pick for Jimmy Butler and Justin Patton. Rome, I will start with you on this one. What is your take on this amazing deal for Butler and Philadelphia, really?
Well, just a little touch on Minnesota right now. I kind of think in the long term they won the trade. They got rid of one player that they didn't need, and they got a ton of guys back. You know that they could use. Starting Sarge is a key guy. Covington's been in the shooting slump kind of, so maybe going to a new team in a new arena might help that out. They got the picks, which it could be whatever. But I think in the long run, it was a good move for them. Philly short term, really nice move. You know what I'm saying? If they're trying to make a run this year, I just don't see it putting them over the hump. I don't see this beating the Celtics really.
Well,
I think it makes it close and it makes it interesting. It makes the East a little bit more competitive and fun now. You still got Toronto in the picture, but I just don't see them.
Right.
If Jimmy Butler didn't mesh well with certain guys in Chicago, he didn't mesh well with certain
guys
in Minnesota.
Here you go again with the bad teammate. Here you go again with the bad teammate thing. Here's the thing. I understand your take on the bad teammate. I understand in episode 1 you mentioned he was a bad, or you had heard he was a bad teammate from your sources. I will say this. In terms of Minnesota, I'll start off with them. This is a win for them, regardless of anyone's thought of a winner or loser of that trade, because they needed to get Jimmy Butler out of that locker room. He was a cancer. You saw how Karl Anthony Towns was not himself. And I understand you hear folks like Shaq and them on TNT saying, oh, well, it shouldn't matter that, Butler's there. If he's the future, he should be your guy and this and that. I understand that. But it was so obvious. If it's obvious he's a cancer, he's affecting the mentality of Karl Anthony Towns, Butler has to go. I mean, I've been stating this on multiple occasions. Also,
but he's a baller, and I don't want people to think I'm super bashing him. No,
but
on the court, I'm saying a guy can, in between those lines, man, he does his job and he does it very well.
But my thing with Jimmy Butler, my thing with Philadelphia is I understand your short-term comment, but I'm hearing reports Butler may be inclined to sign long-term. I'll say this. We are past the days of a team trading for somebody and it being an automatic guarantee, oh, he's leaving at the end of the year, he's gone. Because we saw with the Paul George, he had a year-long recruitment in OKC. It was a trade from Indiana to OKC. Everybody thought, oh, he's gone the next year. He's going to LA. Him and LeBron are going to team up. And what happened, Rome? Paul George remained in OKC. They had a year's worth of, what's what I'm looking for? Interviews. Not a year's worth of a pitch. I'll say it like that. In terms of Jimmy Butler, bad teammate. Heard some of the things, okay? I haven't heard as much as you have. But I'm looking at this. I'm thinking like this. I understand your concern with the Celtics because those Celtics are the destined favorites. I think I even said last week I've said in the past, anything less than an NBA Finals appearance for the Celtics is a failed season. I'll tell you this much: that series is at least going 6, at the minimum 6. At the minimum 6, Boston, Philly. At the minimum 6, but I don't know. In terms of
I was talking with my boss the other day or yesterday about it, and I think it definitely makes Philly better. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, Robert Covington wasn't really shooting the best, so I think they help him in that. Butler helps him in that aspect defensively. But I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Also,
it doesn't always translate. You know, it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean they're going to be.
No one's saying that the Sixers are the new favorite, but this puts them in the conversation. You heard new general manager Elton Brand go on the jump and tell Rachel Nichols and Steven Jackson he felt the Sixers were only one major piece away from being in the conversation with a Boston, with a Toronto. They were hoping Markelle Fultz would develop, but as we're seeing, he may not end up being that guy. So, and if you are a Philadelphia, you have an established all-star piece in Jimmy Butler. So, I mean, I think it was a great move for him. It puts some in the conversation, okay? Because it was always Boston and Toronto, and Philadelphia and Milwaukee on that second tier. I think with this deal, the Sixers have leapfrogged. As I wrote in my Pro Sports Extra article, link in the description, I think this puts the Sixers in the conversation with Boston and Toronto, undoubtedly.
Hands down, yeah. I mean, I agree. I just don't know. I did hear some people yesterday, like when I found out it was during the Michigan State football game, and I was in the press box with a bunch of other media people. Right. So it kind of was just like a trickle down effect when everyone kind of got it at the same time, got the early reports, and everyone was kind of rambling about it and talking. Yeah, everyone was talking about it, and so I mean, a couple guys, from different publications and different stations were like, oh yeah, this puts Philly over the top, and
well, not over the top, but on the same level.
I just don't see them. It'd be competitive. I'll put it that way. It was a nice move. It'd be competitive. I don't know how he's gonna play well with that trio of Vinny, Joel Embiid and Butler. I just don't know how that's gonna go. Well, I'm excited to watch it.
One intriguing thing I did see a Ben Simmons interview after he was notified of the trade, and I don't know if it's just me looking into things a little more deeply, but I saw Simmons. One of the first things he mentioned was, well, you know what, it is what it is. What he basically said was the front office is going to do whatever it needs to do to make us better. I didn't sense a lot of joy in that. And you know what? Hold on. Before you have field day, I'm letting you know, if you've been Simmons and Joel Embiid, it doesn't matter what you've heard, okay? You need to embrace this. Listen, is Jimmy a bad teammate? I don't know the guy, Rome, and you don't either. All we do is hear things.
Super nice, and that's not. From what I see, he does.
And that's not a knock on you. I'm just saying none of us know him, so we're not in those locker rooms. We unfortunately do not have a job in the NBA. We don't have that job. So if you're Ben Simmons and you're Joel Embiid, I just saw the interview and I'm like, he doesn't seem all that happy. But I'm thinking to myself, regardless, you're in a LeBron James-less Eastern Conference, Rome. That has not happened since 2002. LeBron James-less Eastern Conference. The door is wide open in the East. I understand Boston's up there. I understand that Kawhi Leonard is in Draketown, is in the Raptors. But if you're Philadelphia, you have a shot. You have a legit shot now. You have the piece. It's there. So if I'm seeing Ben Simmons give the front office did it response to it, I saw that this morning. I'm like, he doesn't seem a lot. So I didn't understand that, but
he doesn't have to seem happy. Ben Simmons is a winner, a competitor, so he's going to win regardless. And Ben Simmons, unlike this is no shot to the guys in Minnesota. I just think Ben Simmons' character and personality is just different. Butler wouldn't really faze him if he is a bad teammate. You know what I'm saying? I think Ben Simmons is the type of guy that's going to be like, hey, I'm just trying to win. You know what I'm saying? You see Joel Embiid is the one with the personality.
Well, I will
so
say
I'm
this.
interested to see how that goes.
I will say there's two of the biggest trolls on the Sixers now with Jimmy Butler and Joel Embiid. Two of the biggest trolls.
Yeah, I'm excited
so that team's going to be playing a lot of mind games, too. So that's not.
But like I said, Ben Simmons is just, locked in. Just wants to play ball.
Well, time will tell if they will take over the East. I'm not sure. I think this puts them. I think that Boston, the Raptors, and now the Sixers have the same shot to get out of the East. It's a three-way race. I mean, I like the Bucks, but they're on that second tier to me. And below them is you have teams like Indiana and the Pistons now, and teams like that. But it's Boston, Toronto, and Philadelphia for me. Rome, I don't know. It was a great move to me. It was a great move for me. I liked it. For Philly's sake, I understand your point for Minnesota getting a core. I mean, Dario Saric is a solid NBA starter.
Solid, man.
Is he a star? No. He's a starter. Robert Covington is a high energy guy. I like him a lot. He can be a starter in this league.
I just want him. He just has to get that shot. Because he used to be one of the best catch and shoot guys in the league, percentage-wise.
Jared Bayless at this point is a bench player, and a second-round pick is a second-round pick. So, it was a nice move for Minnesota. They had to do it. I understand there are people, even myself, who kind of stayed. They got a little shafted, but at the expense of your team's future, it's okay. Dario Saric and Covington are not horrible players. They're solid starter pieces, so I understand your future aspect, but, the big winner here is the city of brotherly love in Philadelphia, so time will tell.
Yeah. Also, shouts out the Indiana Pacers in their arena. Bankers Life Fieldhouse. My first time there, and it's beautiful. Great basketball place. I'm seriously one of the better basketball arenas I've been in. If you haven't got a chance to go see it, I would go out there for a game.
Indiana Pacers game?
Yeah, it doesn't have to be a Pacers game. Just anything.
Okay.
I think they have the Big Ten championship tournament out there. So, for basketball. But yeah.
Welcome back to the Triple Double Podcast. Moving on to our next topic about the NBA All-Star Game. Commissioner Adam Silver earlier in the week announcing that it will be a televised All-Star draft. So last season it was a big story about how the draft was done behind closed doors and no one saw who was picked last. I guess that was the big joke, but my thing about that, I'll start off. My big thing about that is it's a great move to have it televised. I think it's the same type of excitement as there was back in the 80s when the draft was televised all of a sudden. That became a spectacle to watch. This is kind of on the level of the draft lottery as well. So, it's a good move for the league. In terms of the whole who gets picked last thing, I'm going to say this. These guys are multimillionaires. If you're a Kevin Love, if you're a Bradley Beal, if you're like a Lou Williams, you couldn't give two you-know-whats by getting picked last in the All-Star draft. If you make over 10 plus million a year, Rome, your thoughts on this? I like it personally.
Like you said, I love it for the league. The NBA is making major steps day by day and year by year, season by season to be a yearly sport, kind of how the NFL is.
Right.
The NFL really doesn't have a downtime. It's became a yearly thing. That's why it's kind of, the most popular sport. But the NBA is actually really rising up, and they're doing things every day, like I said, to get to that point. The NBA offseason is exciting now. We have the draft and the lottery and the combine and summer league, and they're doing all these things in the G League. Yeah. So they're giving you opportunities to just watch the NBA awards in the summertime.
Right, exactly. That was
so I think this is just another step in the right direction for the NBA. I love it. My biggest thing though about it, because they did, conference and captain from each side last year.
Yep, say it.
LeBron's on the West now.
Yep.
Curry, it was Curry versus Bron. So now, are they co-captains? Who's the captain?
Nope. It's Team LeBron, and it's gonna be either like Team Giannis or Team Kawhi. I don't know who the Eastern Conference captain would be, but
Jason Tatum should be the Eastern Conference
not
MVP.
as a second year.
MVP though of that game. He might show
MVP,
up.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah, he might show
not
up
as a captain.
If he gets there.
Okay.
If he gets there.
If I had to make a prediction, I'm guessing LeBron is captain of Team West, but even still, he can pick Eastern players. And I'm gonna go with Team Giannis. I'm gonna go with Giannis Antetokounmpo out of the West, out of the East, being the captain. So.
Yeah, that's a good pick. Or Joel Embiid's been having a hell of a
Joel's up there too. Yeah.
Embiid's been having a hell of a past couple weeks. Damn near month. The last quarter of October and early November.
You think they make a team? What's it called? Team Brad Stevens.
Team Brad Stevens.
Nah, I'm just joking with that one. But it's Giannis. You have Joel. You have Ben Simmons. You have Kawhi Leonard. I mean, you got some good pieces over there. So
Mm-hmm. It'll be a fun game.
Absolutely, that'll be a pretty fun game. Welcome back to the Triple Double podcast. Moving on to our next segment, which is Melo. Not Hoodie Melo, just Melo. Exactly. He's playing horrendously for the Houston Rockets, averaging just over 13 a game. Just not himself as of recent. Rome, I will start with you on this one. You were a big proponent on this topic. What are your thoughts about what's heading on with Carmelo Anthony?
Right now, I just think Carmelo is really just too slow for the league. I think the league just got too fast for him pace-wise. I don't think he can just physically keep up. Melo is skilled. He's a very skilled guy.
He's a juggernaut, offensively, yes.
He's talented, but I just think he's just too slow for the game now. And I think it's time for him to just, start going to LA Fitness every day, got the hoodie on, and just, start his own league called the Hoodie Melo League. At this point,
team up
with LA Fitness, get a partnership going, and travel city to city called the Hoodie Melo League.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we had this discussion off air, and I told her, there's already a league that does that. It's called your local rec league for all the fat, out of shape, wannabe athletes.
But LA Fitness don't got Carmelo Anthony behind it. They don't got Carmelo Anthony behind it. It could be the Hoodie Melo time.
If you go to the local, I think his family still lives in New York. I think the local New York rec league at the local YMCA's, you're going to see all these wannabes and Carmelo just going 100 miles an hour up the court. I mean, I'm going to cut you off. I'm going to give my brief take, and then you take over, because this topic seems very simple to me. It's time for Carmelo Anthony to retire. I'm with you 100%. The game has changed. He made his bones in Denver in the first 2-3 years in New York, being a offensive juggernaut, whether shooting or being a slasher. The game is a 3-point game now. And while he has a 3-point shot, a lot of the things that were key basketball, facets during, last decade are no longer important. So for Melo's sake, it's unfortunate. The game has shifted from beneath his feet, as my idol Stephen A. Smith has said, or Max Kellerman has said, not my idol, but still a good guy. It's sad, It's sad because I remember he's had opportunities to be on a championship team. If you remember, when the Miami Big Three was formed, the original blueprint was LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, and Melo. It wasn't Bosh. It was Melo. But Melo got offered more money by the Nuggets, and he took the money over winning. And you know what? A lot of guys will look at, a lot of these casual fans, guys not like us, Rome, will look at that and be like, oh, see, He doesn't care about championships. He doesn't care about that. He took the money. I'm going to say this to you. A lot of these guys grow up wishing for a better lifestyle. And when they have the opportunity to obtain that, hell yeah, they're going to take it. So I'm so sick and tired of people who say, oh, he doesn't care about winning, he wants the money. If that's how guys want to operate, there should be no blame on those guys to do that. None whatsoever. I understand you're fasted. Oh, well, Melo, it's all his fault. And you know what? There is some fault that lies in Melo. He had opportunities to win or at least be in a championship picture setting, which he declined. Miami in 2010, on the Bulls in 2014. That was the big one I was on. I didn't care about the Heat. I cared about 2014, him and D Rose and Joakim Noah and Taj Gibson, Luol Deng on the Bulls. I like that one. He didn't go there. He stayed in New York. But for all the people who may watch this and be like, oh, Ashanti, you don't know what you're talking about, man. He should have gone for the championship. Let Ashanti tell you. You don't know how these guys grew up. You have no idea what these guys' mentality is like. You have no idea what they want in their life. If they want a better life, it's hard. It's easy for a fan to be like, he could have joined the Heat if he just sacrificed, a good like $15 million. Are you serious? $15 million? Rome. $15 million? $15 million. I understand the casual fan's point, but I will tell you like this. Money, in some cases, is everything. With that being said, it's a sad case for him. Melo is undoubtedly a Hall of Famer. Offensive juggernaut. Will probably has his jersey retired in Denver. New York, maybe not, but at least Denver, with no rings. So I think
Melo's gonna coast the season out.
Yeah, I think
he's gonna have some bright moments. He's gonna have some low moments this season. Earlier this week, last week against Brooklyn, he put up 28. Sometimes he follows that up with a night where he goes 1 for 7. 1
for 11 from 3 this past week. 1 for 11, I heard. My main point is this. At the season's end,
drag him shots, and it might go in, it might not. That's Melo's game.
Because I'm even hearing about it's even being reported that the Rockets and Melo are sitting down to discuss his role with the team for this season. Rome, we're not even a month in. We're barely a month in. We're barely a month in.
And basically try to shoot the ball.
That's it. We're a month in. And they're talking to him like they're about to waive him. They're not going to, obviously, but it's just at season's end. At season's end, this is my final point. At season's end, Melo needs to hang it up. Unfortunately,
I don't know. It's so tough when when I just say guys should stop playing, man, because these guys love the game. I know he loves basketball, but I just don't think his heart is in the NBA right now. I just don't think mentally he's all there.
I think. It's one thing to categorize heart. It's another thing to categorize just ability to keep up. He's not. He's not LeBron James. He doesn't have the same.
Pace-wise, the game is fast, but he's still playing 27, 29, 30, 39 minutes. He's playing a lot of minutes.
Right, but what he's doing, but is he efficient in those minutes, Rome? No, he's not.
No, I'm just saying. I'm not saying you can't say that he's too slow. He's out there playing damn near 40 minutes sometimes.
I don't know, man.
He's out there. He's trying. That's all I'm saying. He's trying.
He can try all he wants to, but at the end of the day, NBA at its core, the NBA is a business. And I understand the minutes argument, and that's fine, but in those 40 minutes, what are you giving me? Is it 1 for 11? Is it 1 for 11 or is it 10 for 11? 8 for 11, 7 for 11? You know, is it 1 for 8 or is it 5 for 8? 6 for 8? It's a business, Rome. I'm sorry to say.
You shoot the ball, you miss it, it goes in. You know, sometimes that 1 for 11 could be 8 for 11. We're talking about it different.
That's all I'm saying.
It just happens.
It's a sad, man. It's a sad case because he was. I mean, are there questions about whether he should have left Denver or not? Hard to say because going to New York was amazing until Phil Jackson got there, and that front office didn't really make a lot of good moves either, with a trade away of Jeremy Lin, letting Tyson Chandler go, letting J.R. Smith and Amon Shumpert, 2 of your building blocks, go. You know,
he needs to just play in a hoodie for the rest of his life. Seriously. Melo's off season is better than his regular season. I wonder what numbers he puts up in the gym.
Isn't that crazy?
And that Jordan gym, and that secret Jordan location gym that all the guys get invited to. I wish I could just be in one of those open gyms. There was time. I think there was a time where it was James Harden, Russell Westbrook, obviously Melo and Oladipo all out there just running, just getting some runs in, and Ernest Cantor, guys like that. You never know who shows up to Melo's gym. He needs to just do that. Play on his gym. At this point, I don't know.
Wishing best for Melo.
Oh yeah, man. I like him. I don't want to bash him. I just think, sometimes the game passes you up. It's not even you. It's just the game just passes you up.
Yeah.
Life happens. It's a circle of life. Melo had a good career, though.
He did. He's a Hall of Fame player. Yeah. He's a Hall of Fame player, undoubtedly. Hall of Fame player is most likely going to get his jersey retired in Denver because I don't think Denver has a lot of real legends to celebrate. I
think he had a hell of a stint in New York, though.
Yeah. Well, New York. I think.
Stat-wise.
Yeah, but if you have James Dolan as the owner, you're not going that far. Especially if you bring in Phil Jackson, who bashes you in the media publicly. It wasn't going to work. OKC didn't work last season, unfortunately. And everyone said with this high-powered offense, Houston would work, but it's not looking like that. So,